All right. We're back with Thomas France, who is the co-founder and VP Business Development of Ledger.
Hello.
Thank you for being on the Boost VC podcast.
It's a pleasure to be here in San Mateo.
You're here a lot, right?
Yeah, I'm actually based in San Francisco, and I guess when we moved in San Francisco 3 years ago, that was one of the only place where there were some Bitcoin meetups and the Bitcoin ecosystem. So I've been spending a lot of time in San Mateo back in the days.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I think we first met at I remember meeting you at a meetup, and it was during the nuclear winter of crypto, and you were pitching me hardware crypto wallets. And I was like, I can't see hardware in crypto, and I was so wrong.
No, it's exactly that. But you were not the only one like that, so it's okay. So it was not obvious at all that people needed to have some dedicated hardware to store their private keys. So definitely that was a long journey for people to realize that for sure.
Yeah, no, it will. And now are you the number one hardware wallet?
Yeah, well, there's no a real data on that, but I would assume assume that we are the leading hardware wallet in the sector right now.
No data. Well, that's right. How many hardware Ledger wallets have been sold total?
So we've communicated on one milestone that we achieved back in January 2018, and we sold 1 million units. And 1 million units in 2017. So that was really the hockey stick really happened in 2017. And 2014, 15, 16, we sold a couple of tens. And 2017 was the year when we sold 1 million units of these. That's the only figure we communicated on. So that gives you a good order of magnitude of the number of hardware wallets out there. And compared to figures that you have for blockchain info, Coinbase, stuff like that, you see that there's still a bit of margin to go and get people to use more hardware wallets.
And so I was one of the many who was sort of this is never going to be a thing, even though I loved you. Why did you and your team believe in hardware wallets?
So basically back in 2014 when we started to work on crypto and Bitcoin, we didn't know really what to do, and we kind of try and evaluate the space, understand what are the issues, the problem, and what kind of talents we have where we were, in France, to build a very valuable company. And security was obviously a big major problem, and we knew that if we wanted this technology to scale, we needed to have the right type of tools to secure these crypto assets. And at the same time, we met with some people in France working in the secure hardware industry that were applying that technology for crypto. And we kind of so that it was a very meaningful problem to solve. We had an unfair advantage from being French, which is something strange. So we started to work on some early prototypes, and we knew that if you wanted to have the true potential of crypto, you need to own your private keys. Owning your private keys is hard. We want to provide a solution that is easier for people to be their own banks and manage their crypto assets.
And how long have you been working on this?
So the company was founded mid-2014. So that's the moment when we met together and say, okay, let's work on Ledger.
And what I didn't know until we actually had invested was you were a hackathon team.
Yeah, well, kind of. So the story and our involvement in crypto is that I co-founded with Eric, my co-founder, first startup in 2010. So
so you guys knew each other.
Yeah, we knew each other. So 2011 to 2014, we were working on this project, and we sold it at the end of 2013. And after that, we had some time, some energy, and to focus on something new.
Got
In
it.
2013, that was the time where we got like a lot of knowledge about crypto. We started to hear about that more and more, but we didn't really have time, to focus on it like 100%. And in 2014, when we end of 2013, when we sold that previous company, we started to. Yeah, we wanted to enter the space. We didn't really know what to do. So the first thing we did was opening like a Bitcoin center, a physical center in the middle of Paris. So at the time, people were thinking we're crazy, but the idea was really to kind of iterate, like prototype different ideas, meet with the community. And basically, the idea was to shake very hard and see what was going to go out of it. And we knew that, we could find something very valuable to focus on. And that's Ledger came out of this episode. So it was La Maison du Bitcoin, the Bitcoin center in the middle of Paris. That's still live, running pretty well. Yeah. So again, in the second arrondissement, there's like some Bitcoin ADMs. It's over-the-counter trading over there. There's some meetups. There's some training. So it's like a separate company, but.
So it would be the equivalent of you just created a central hub for all crypto now, Bitcoin then. Excitement.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really a great way to get access to like the talents, the community, working on that, and trying to scout the best possible partners to work on something new. So
that's fascinating. That's exactly what we did with Boost VC. We just said, "Hey, welcome Boost Bitcoin." And that then we got to
people come, you bring
up
the talents, you invest in the best one.
People want to hang out with people who are interested in the same things. Like that's what ended up happening.
So the idea was really to focus on the project. We didn't want to like kind of invest in different projects because the type of community in France was fairly small, but we really wanted to build a project on so the idea was to identify some key aspect where we want to focus on, find the right team, and then build that product. And that's how Ledger started to get live.
Yeah, so I don't think we've actually defined what Ledger is, even though we've been talking about hardware wallets. So what that's my bad. What is Ledger? And then I'd love to hear just a quick couple of lines on your background. So like what got you here?
Sure. So Ledger is it's a company that is manufacturing tools to secure crypto assets, and our first product that we are known for is a hardware wallet, and it's targeted for individuals who have some cryptocurrencies and want to secure it properly. And a hardware wallet is basically an offline computer that has like a processor, secure processor, a screen, a keyboard that is going to generate, store, and manage your keys in an offline environment. So it's really like the go-to solution for anybody who has crypto that they cannot afford to lose. It's to have like the keys in full isolation to network on a hardware wallet. So the Ledger Nano S is the killer product that we've been selling for the last year or so, and before that we had the first generation of products that we were selling back in 2015, 2016. So and how I got into crypto. So I think it's really in 2013. I think the first mention I had about Bitcoin was about like I think it was Silk Road, in a way that people were talking about this marketplace out there on the wild where people could buy some illegal stuff online. And I was saying, oh, that's strange. They're using this Bitcoin stuff that is not getting shut down. They were talking more and more about it, and it was still not shut down. So I was thinking that must be something that pretty powerful not to be shut down by the Feds and all that.
Have you read the book American Kingpin?
I haven't.
You should. Okay. So it's about the founding of the Silk Road, and thus where the reasoning behind using Bitcoin and all that stuff. I think it's a really well designed book.
Okay, now I need to find some time to read some more books. But the general idea was really that there was this thing like that could not be shut down, and it was like a real new experiment where you had something that truly was resistant to censorship, and after you start digging and learning a bit more about the technology, and then it's game over, you're part of it. So
once you talk to more than like 3 people.
Yeah, exactly. And then you meet with like-minded people, and then it's game over again. So
Yeah, it really was. It was like 3 people, and then I talked to like another 10, but the first 3 were the ones who sort of like they were my doorway into the gateway drug into the world. Into crypto.
So yeah, and in 2014 we started founding Ledger. 2015 we managed to raise an initial seed round, and that's the moment when I moved in the US. So we really wanted to be closer to where the action was happening, and at the time a lot of things were happening in the valley and in San Francisco. So we started to have like a small office in San Fran. We kept it fairly small at the beginning. The idea was really to be like closer to where things were happening, making sure we could integrate with the right partners, getting the right access to the developer community, for all that community that would after that develop all these new consensus protocol, new interesting smart contracts and stuff like that. So really wanted to be closer to the action. Started small. Now we're about 3. And the bulk of the team is still in France. We're about 100 based in Paris, and Vierzon, a small town south of Paris, where part of the manufacturing is made and all the shipping and handling.
100 people.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah,
that's super exciting.
So yeah, no, it's I think the interesting thing is like started very small, very scrappy. And yeah, we managed to scale pretty well with the incredible demand.
And what's the sentiment of crypto or Bitcoin in France specifically? And if you were to liken it like the difference between the U.S. and France? So
I think it's not so much for crypto. It's for like new technology like that. There might be some stuff missing in France. Is like maybe the access to capital. So it's changing pretty quickly, but still you had the first ecosystem built in maybe in the valley or in other region, because you had the initial money to bootstrap and to fund the first big projects. So I think there's a few great projects in Paris and in France. I would think like there's a Lightning implementation, there's an exchange, there's some team from Consensus, there's some decentralized derivative exchange that are happening there. But I think it's a bit smaller in terms of size, but it's actually pretty dynamic though. There's a lot of talents, and now the access to capital was a bit different with the ICO trend. So there's been like a bunch of interesting projects.
That's super exciting. One of the things that I've wanted to do this year and next is really go around the globe, because this technology is so global that there isn't. We always talk about decentralization. Like, there really isn't a centralized power, except Silicon Valley has a lot of excitement just because ideas are here and there's a lot of infrastructure here. Have you traveled to any other countries and checked out their
definitely for sure
ecosystems?
There's some hubs here and there, and Silicon Valley is one of them. I think in Europe you've got like Switzerland, obviously because of what's happening in the crypto valley. I think Berlin, there's a big hub, and I think it's really after it's pretty decentralized in a way that you've got some hubs in Spain, you've got some activities in London, in Paris. So personally, I've been like to some places in Europe, obviously, but also like in Shanghai, the team is pretty active. In Seoul, active as well. Singapore, so it's really interesting to see that there's not like Silicon Valley winner takes it all, but it's really like maybe it started like that a little bit, but right now we see like with the access to capital through ICO that could be done from anywhere in the world. There were some teams like based where the talents are, where the founders are. So it's really decentralized in this way.
Completely. I was just in Singapore, and I got to see firsthand how first crypto took over the world. That's the first thing. Second thing was there was an apartment building in Singapore, and in this one apartment building there were 10 crypto projects. So it's like it like what you did with the Coin Center.
The Bitcoin Center, but it's actually it's a governmental building, isn't it? It's the building.
So this
where
one's not. There is another one. Yes.
Yeah, with a MakerDAO, whatever. There's a bunch of projects with that.
It's super exciting. Yeah. Well, so it probably is a government building in some way because there are a lot of that the Singapore government is very involved in sort of the real estate buildings. I learned a lot about how the whole system works, and it's pretty interesting how that government functions. It's awesome. They're very innovative, and they're incentivized to be very innovative because they have to. They're a small country in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, if you make your tour in Europe, we can help you out in France for
That's
sure.
what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I just want to set up nodes where I can go and hang out. Okay. So back to what we should be talking about, which is Ledger and you. What I would like to know is how did the expectation of what you were expecting for 2017 exceed your expectations in 2017? So,
yep,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. So, I think what we were anticipating in 2017, I think it was something like, selling 30K units, and we thought that it would be 30 or 50K. I don't remember. That order of magnitude, and it's interesting that we had to reforecast. I think like every month, every 2 months, like the number of the prediction and all that. So it's really like went beyond our expectation in a way that we couldn't just like anticipate that the level of growth that we went through. It was like something like 30x growth that we had during that year. So it was really hard to to anticipate, and this led like to some issues in terms of capacity. It was not just about like putting some more racks in order to scale, but it's also like hardware products. You need to.
Yeah, you're a hardware. You scale differently than software.
Yeah, you need to produce it. You need to forecast it. You need to have it delivered, have it assembled. So it was like a nightmare. It was really painful to go through this scaling process, but it looks like it went pretty well. So the way we try to understand how this all happened. So obviously, a lot of interest around cryptocurrency. I think a lot of people also wanted to it was a gold rush, and in that gold rush we were part of the toolkit to enter that gold rush. You needed to have your Coinbase account, you needed to have your Poloniex or your Binance or your Bittrex account to make your trading, and you also needed to have your ledger to secure all that. One thing also that was interesting is that in 2016 we were like 2015, 2016, it was like a Bitcoin-centric world, and we shifted to a world with multiple crypto. At the beginning, people were okay managing one type of keys, but after, if you needed to manage your Zcash, your Ledger, your Ethereum, your whatever coin, having everything on a seed on the ledger was something that was an order of magnitude easier. And Ledger gave access to, you have your key, so you have the true potential of your crypto. You could participate in ICOs. You could, do anything when you have the control of the key. So it's really like a reason why people shifted to a Ledger to benefit from like true potential of the crypto.
Well, that is awesome that you guys grew so fast, so much last year. I think it's almost like the volume that you guys were able to sell last year was indicative of the entire market, but it's an actual number that everyone can point at. Like I like pointing at how many ledgers you guys sold. So moving on to be sensitive to your time, because I know you have to be somewhere right after this. I want to go into the lightning round if you're ready. Are you ready for the lightning round?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, ready? Lightning round! Pizza or sandwich?
Pizza.
And why?
Oh, pizza day. I'm a US guy now. I live in the US. I need to eat some pizza.
That is super true. Okay, if you're trapped on an island with one video game, what would that video game be?
It would be Super Mario.
For the N64 or NES?
The NES.
Okay, that's valid.
That's the first one.
I'll accept that. I'll accept that answer. If you could meet two people, if you could have dinner with two people in the span of history, who would those two people be?
So I'll go with Einstein, I guess. Let's do something. Let's go with Caesar as well. That was a long time ago.
Caesar and Einstein.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that would be a really interesting dinner table.
Right. Yeah, it could be some fun topics.
Yeah, I think so. And then Satoshi. Throw Satoshi in there just to like say, give him the head nod.
There's
Or
many
or
Satoshis,
group.
you know.
Yeah, many Satoshis. Okay. If you could, oh my God, I just drew a huge blank. I normally just go off the cuff. I'm gonna get back to my favorite superpower. If you could have a superpower, what would that superpower be?
Ubiquity, I guess.
Be everywhere all the
Yeah.
time and absorb all that knowledge.
Yeah, that could be great.
Okay, I appreciate that. And what is your definition of success?
My definition of success is, I guess it's happiness, and it's the most important stuff. Being happy, and when you die, you're happy of what you've done.
I love it.
Success can be simple, you know?
I love it. Thanks for being on the Boost VC podcast.
A pleasure. Thanks.